Nathan Everett, a renowned fashion designer living in the heart of New York City, had built his life around creativity and independence. Known for his groundbreaking designs and impeccable sense of style, Nathan was a man who thrived on control and detested anything or anyone that might tether him down. Relationships, they were fleeting. Commitment, out of the question. But life, as it often does, had other plans for him. One morning, Nathan received a call from his family's lawyer, Mr. Sterling, with an announcement that flipped his world upside down. His late grandfather, Henry Everett, the founder of the globally celebrated Everett Couture, had left behind a shocking stipulation in his will. To inherit the family business and a vast fortune, Nathan would have to do the unthinkable: get married. And not just married, he had 7 days, right? As Nathan processed this bombshell, his mind raced. How could someone like him, averse to commitment and allergic to anything resembling domesticity, find a wife in just a week? It was as if his grandfather was reaching out from beyond the grave with one final lesson about love, family, and responsibility. Faced with a decision that would alter his life forever, Nathan couldn't help but wonder, was this challenge destined to teach him something deeper, or was it simply an impossible mission? Determined to meet the impossible 7-day deadline, Nathan began brainstorming ways to find a bride. Traditional methods seemed laughable. He briefly considered placing a discreet ad in an elite matchmaking service or contacting a reputable agency. But the thought of parading himself in front of strangers desperate for social status or wealth made his skin crawl. His trusted personal assistant Lila, always resourceful and full of surprises, offered her own suggestions. "We could try leveraging your network. Someone might be willing to help for the right price." But Nathan dismissed the idea, unwilling to turn his social circle into a hunting ground for his spouse. Then, late one evening, inspiration struck. What if he hired someone? Not a high society debutante or a matchmaking agency pick, but someone who understood the arrangement for what it truly was. A business deal. No strings attached, just a mutually beneficial agreement. It was unconventional, but so was the situation. Nathan's search brought him to a bustling downtown cafe, one of his favorite places to clear his head. It was here, amidst the aroma of fresh espresso and the chatter of patrons, that he met Sophia. A part-time art teacher and waitress, Sophia was unlike anyone Nathan had ever encountered. Her down-to-earth demeanor and warm, creative energy caught his attention immediately. Sophia wasn't just serving coffee. She was a whirlwind of efficiency and charm, her honey-brown eyes sparkling as she moved effortlessly from table to table. Nathan watched her, intrigued. Her confidence, her independence, it all drew him in. When she approached his table to take his order, a bold idea took root in his mind. "Excuse me, Sophia," he began, his voice unusually hesitant, a rare vulnerability in his tone. "I have a rather unconventional proposal for you." Sophia blinked, her brow furrowing in surprise. "A proposal? You can't be serious." "Yes," Nathan said, his lips curling into an ironic smile. "How would you like to make a deal? Marry me for 7 days, help me meet a legal requirement, and I'll make it worth your while." The cafe fell silent, or perhaps it was just Sophia's world. She stared at him, stunned. A marriage proposal from a complete stranger? Sophia sat frozen, trying to process Nathan's audacious proposal. "You're serious?" she finally asked, her tone teetering between disbelief and amusement. "It is serious as a 7-day deadline can make a person," Nathan replied, his eyes steady. "Look, I know it sounds absurd, but I'm in a bind. You're independent, intelligent, and, frankly, you seem like someone who doesn't back down from a challenge." Sophia leaned back in her chair, crossing her arms. "Why me? Out of all the women in New York City, why choose a waitress at a cafe?" Nathan smirked. "Because you're not just a waitress. You're sharp, quick-witted, and refreshingly real. Besides, I don't need a glamorous socialite. I need someone who can handle the pressure of a temporary arrangement without strings attached, and someone who could use the financial boost. At the mention of money, Sophia hesitated. The truth was, she was drowning in debt. Her family's small art studio, Sophia's Corner, was barely hanging on by a thread, and overdue rent loomed over her like a dark cloud. This deal could be the lifeline she needed, but marrying a stranger, even for a week, it sounded insane. "What exactly are you offering?" she asked cautiously. Nathan leaned forward. "I'll cover the financial troubles you're facing, completely. In return, all you have to do is play the part. We'll get married, attend a few family functions, and convince a stubborn lawyer that we're madly in love. After that, we go our separate ways." Sophia studied him, her mind a whirlwind of doubt and temptation. The risks were clear, but so were the rewards. After a long silence, she extended her hand. "All right, Nathan, you've got yourself a deal." Nathan grinned as he shook her hand. "You won't regret this." In the days that followed, preparations moved at lightning speed. Lila, ever the efficient assistant, arranged everything, from a tailored wedding dress to a picturesque venue. On the day of the wedding, Sophia stood at the altar in a sleek modern gown, still half convinced this was all a bizarre dream. Nathan, dashing in a custom tuxedo, whispered as she approached, "Relax, Sophia. It's just 1 week." She smirked. Famous last words. The ceremony may have been swift and simple, but Nathan and Sophia's honeymoon was anything but conventional. Following instructions from his grandfather's will, the newlyweds were required to embark on a road trip, traveling across the countryside in a refurbished vintage camper van. A far cry from the luxurious resorts Nathan was used to, the camper was as cramped as it was charming. "I guess this is where the romance happens," Sophia quipped, eyeing the van's faded paint and modest interior. Nathan sighed, running a hand through his perfectly styled hair. Romance? No. Survival? Maybe. The van, which Sophia fondly nicknamed Olive due to its green exterior, became the unlikely stage for their budding partnership. From the moment they hit the road, challenges began to pile up. The engine sputtered on steep hills, the shower was barely a trickle of cold water, and the kitchen counter was too small for Nathan's attempt at making toast without setting off the smoke alarm. Sophia, used to life's unpredictability, took it all in stride. "Move over, city boy," she said, taking charge of the camper's quirky stove. "Let me show you how to make a sandwich without burning the place down." As they navigated winding roads and stopped in quaint little towns, they began to share more than just confined space. Nathan, despite his polished exterior and usual aloofness, surprised Sophia with moments of dry wit and an unexpectedly thoughtful nature. He remembered her favorite coffee, listened intently to her stories, and even tried to help with the van's quirks. For his part, Nathan found himself increasingly captivated by Sophia's honesty, her resilience in the face of struggles, and the way she could find joy even in the smallest things. She didn't care about his wealth or reputation. She challenged him, teased him, and treated him like a regular person, something he hadn't experienced in years. One night, parked at a scenic overlook beneath a canopy of stars, Nathan and Sophia sat outside Olive, wrapped in blankets to fend off the chill. "This isn't exactly what I imagined a honeymoon would be like," Sophia said with a chuckle, gazing at the twinkling sky. Nathan smirked. "Oh, you mean you didn't dream of cold showers and broken gear shifts?" She laughed, the sound warm and genuine. "Honestly, no. But this isn't so bad." Nathan turned to her, his voice softening. "I didn't expect any of this either. Especially enjoying your company so much." Sophia felt a blush creep to her cheeks but smiled. "Careful, Nathan. You might end up liking this fake marriage too much." As the days passed, the barriers between them began to crumble. What started as a convenient arrangement began to feel less like an act and more like something real. Just as Nathan and Sophia were beginning to settle into an unexpected rhythm, trouble arrived, in the form of Adam, Sophia's ex-boyfriend. Adam was the epitome of charm, with just enough charisma to mask his selfish ambitions. A struggling entrepreneur, Adam had always seen Sophia's artistic talent as a tool to elevate himself. When their relationship ended, it was because she finally realized he cared more about his own success than about her. But now, with news of Sophia's sudden marriage to a wealthy fashion designer, Adam resurfaced with a plan. His goal was simple: lure Sophia back, exploit her connection to Nathan, and use the situation to his advantage. It was during a stop in a charming riverside town that Adam made his move. While Nathan was busy dealing with yet another mechanical hiccup with the camper van, Sophia wandered into the town square, enjoying the peaceful atmosphere. Adam appeared out of nowhere, holding a bouquet of wilting flowers and wearing his signature smirk. "Sophia," he called out, feigning surprise. "What a coincidence, running into you here." Sophia froze, her peaceful afternoon shattered. "Adam, what are you doing here?" "Just passing through," he lied smoothly. "But look at you, married to a billionaire no less. I always knew you had it in you." She crossed her arms, unimpressed. "Cut the act, Adam. What do you want?" Adam leaned in, his voice dripping with feigned concern. "Come on, Sophia. You and I both know this marriage is a sham. He's just using you, right? Why settle for that when you could have something real? With me. You don't have to settle for being someone's pawn. Come back to me. We can build a life together, a real partnership." For a fleeting moment, Sophia hesitated. Adam's words stirred old insecurities, planting seeds of doubt about her arrangement with Nathan. But then she thought about the genuine moments she had shared with Nathan, the laughs, the quiet conversations, and the growing connection that felt anything but fake. "No, Adam," she said firmly. "I'm not the same person you used to manipulate. I've moved on." Adam's mask of charm slipped for a moment, revealing his frustration. But before he could push further, Nathan arrived, his expression dark with barely contained anger. "Is there a problem here?" Nathan asked, stepping between Sophia and Adam protectively. Adam smirked but said nothing, slinking away with a parting glance. Nathan turned to Sophia, his voice softer. "You okay?" She nodded, her heart steadying. "I'm fine. Thanks for showing up when you did." As Adam disappeared from sight, Nathan and Sophia exchanged a look that spoke volumes. Their partnership had just weathered its first real test, and their bond was stronger for it. Though Adam had been dealt with, another challenge loomed on the horizon. Mr. Sterling, Nathan's family lawyer, was far from convinced that the marriage was genuine. A meticulous man with a sharp mind, Mr. Sterling noticed discrepancies in Nathan and Sophia's story during their brief interactions. Details that didn't align, moments that felt rehearsed. His instincts told him something was off. Determined to get to the bottom of things, Mr. Sterling summoned the couple to his office. Nathan and Sophia arrived at the imposing downtown skyscraper, the weight of their situation settling over them like a storm cloud. "Mr. Everett, Miss Daniels," Sterling greeted them, his expression cool and professional. "Take a seat. There are a few matters we need to discuss regarding your recent nuptials." Nathan, always composed, leaned back in his chair with an air of confidence. "We're happy to answer any questions, Mr. Sterling." The lawyer's piercing gaze shifted between them. "How exactly did the two of you meet? It's unusual, given your backgrounds." Nathan and Sophia exchanged a glance, their silent communication honed during the past week. Sophia spoke first, her voice steady. "I was working at a cafe downtown. Nathan came in one day and we got to talking. Things escalated quickly, but when you know, you know." Sterling raised an eyebrow, unconvinced. "Love at first sight, was it?" Nathan nodded, leaning forward. "I didn't expect it either. But Sophia challenges me in ways no one else ever has. She's changed my life. For the better." Sterling continued to probe, but with each answer, Nathan and Sophia's shared conviction grew stronger. Their responses were natural, their affection genuine. Though their marriage had started as a farce, it had become something much deeper. By the end of the meeting, Mr. Sterling's skepticism seemed to waver, As the couple left his office, his thoughtful expression hinted that he might finally be reconsidering their union. The final day of Nathan's 7-day deadline arrived, bringing with it both tension and clarity. After their confrontation with Mr. Sterling, Nathan and Sophia returned to the Everett family estate to face not just the lawyer, but Nathan's skeptical relatives. The mansion buzzed with anticipation, whispers swirling among the guests about whether this unlikely couple could truly be in love. Nathan paced in his room, his mind a whirlwind of emotions. What had begun as a business arrangement had turned into something far more meaningful. He couldn't deny it anymore. He had fallen for Sophia. Her laughter, her resilience, the way she stood her ground. It all drew him in. Now he just needed to tell her. In her guest room, Sophia stood before the mirror, smoothing out the fabric of her dress. The past week had been a roller coaster, but somewhere along the way, her feelings for Nathan had become real. She wasn't just playing a role anymore. She wanted a future with him. When the time came, the couple stood before Mr. Sterling and the gathered family. Nathan, dressed in an impeccably tailored suit, took Sophia's hand. Her eyes met his, and in that moment, the world around them seemed to fade. "I know this started as a simple contract," Nathan began, his voice trembling slightly, betraying the depth of his feelings. "But somewhere along the way, it became so much more. I love you, Sophia, not because I have to, but because I can't imagine life without you, not because of who you are." Tears shimmered in Sophia's eyes as she replied, "Nathan, I didn't expect this either, but I love you too. You've shown me a world I never thought I could be part of, not because of the money, but because of your heart." Their heartfelt declarations silenced the room. Even Mr. Sterling, usually stoic, gave a small nod of approval. Nathan's family, initially doubtful, erupted in applause, embracing the couple and their newfound love. As Nathan and Sophia shared a kiss, they knew they weren't just meeting the terms of a will anymore. They were starting a life together, built on something far more valuable than any inheritance.